Good afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we look at some of the things that are happening in the country presently. I am Sada Shadasha. You can join us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Drop your opinions and your suggestion concerning any of the matters we will be discussing this afternoon. And of course, I will be doing the program with Rachel Tazi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
How are you
Sally.
doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
Splendid. I'm great. All right. So, still in the spirit of celebrating the World Kidney Day, we would love to start discussing with that. Even though we started the discussion earlier in the morning by just giving you a tip of what is expected, but then we shall try to say a little more concerning all that is happening in the country. Now, we're saying that the Nigeria Association of Nephrologists are saying the fact that about 272,400 Nigerians die yearly due to chronic kidney diseases. And we're saying that over 27.40 something million Nigerians present are living with kidney disease. It's either some are not even aware that they're having kidney problem because sometimes when it's at its early stage, it's very difficult for you to actually know except through diagnosis or tests before you know. And you know that most times when we're celebrating days like this, we do have free checkups, free diagnosis, more awareness, sanitization, what is expected and all of that. But it breaks my heart, Rachel, because I remember we've been looking at the fact that a number of Nigerian doctors have been leaving the shores of Nigeria. And it will shock you to know that we saw recently, I think we were told that we have just about 50,000 doctors presently that are attending to the over 200 million Nigerians. Now, Rachel, out of those 50,000, we're having about 250 of these specialists when it comes to the issue of kidney. Now, how many? Now, out of 250, and then we're having cases of over 4 to 5% of Nigerians that are living with kidney diseases. How many people will be able to access? They will be able to access these doctors. That is first. Secondly, we're seeing that even the fact that we don't even have all the machineries, everything that is needed. Sometimes you need to go abroad, especially when it comes to maybe the transplant and all of that. Now again, we're struggling with the fact that organ harvesting is on the increase. In fact, according to World Report, it's been said that every day, presently as we're talking, for every hour, one kidney is being sold at the black market. So that is to say, present rich as we're talking, one kidney somewhere in the world is being sold at the key. So for every hour, we're having 24 hours in a day. So that is to say that every day about 24 kidneys
out there.
Of course, especially kidney, because we know any other organ can be there. It's very difficult to get. And then some people, because of the hardship that is going on, a number of people have even sold their kidney to black market people. I think was it last year or so where we saw the case that happened in Plateau State concerning one of these doctors. I think it was an economics where we saw the issue of organ harvesting. We're also looking at the case of Ekweremadu that is presently in prison still as a result of the kidney transplant, and then it was being said it was illegal and all of that. Now, what can the Nigerian government do to put their hands together with the fact that when it comes to the doctors, we are not having them sufficient? When it comes to providing adequate healthcare facility for people to access it. Now, I think there's even a suggestion that maybe when it comes to health insurance, there should be included the issue of kidney, because a number of people cannot. I mean, talking about 16 million naira that is needed for it to be able to access maybe kidney, that's for transplant. Let's not even talk about how much you need weekly. You have to go through dialysis, some of the drugs and all of that. And then we know that they actually have, I think for every year we have a team that covers that. But then beyond having this team every year, what can the government of every country, the government of the country can do? Even though we know for every part of the country or for every part of the world, they have something that's peculiar, because we're being told that especially in Asia, it's more. But when you look at developing countries, it's even more terrible because we don't even have what is needed to take care of our kidney and all that is needed. What can the government put in place? Because it's a serious case. It's becoming one of the global cases. We're talking about one of the deadly diseases that are killing people. Kidney is one of those issues that we are going through, not just in Nigeria, but in the world at large.
When it comes to one of the things that the government can do, I believe the easiest is making drinking water available, as simple as it might be. Imagine you make it available and you sensitize people to take a lot of it. It will go a long way. as insignificant as it might be, it is important to have it there. And then we can talk about having black market and all of that organ harvesting and selling out there. The most is the kidney, then followed by the heart.
Of course.
These are then the liver, any organ in your body that you know can be transplanted.
Even your eye.
Even your eyes, anything you know that someone can be in need of it somewhere, you are at risk. And it's just general safety. The hospitals you visit. And I've seen a video that haunted me for years. And that is why I try to be careful watching sensitive videos. This girl, definitely one of those people that will travel abroad, saying you go and walk and all of that. And she ended up in the hand of people who want to harvest her organ. Now, I didn't watch the cruel part of whatsoever happened to that girl. But I saw what they started doing. And I already know what the end of it was. And it took me days before I could sleep. Literally, I wake up thinking, what have happened to this girl? Now, this is how this organ harvesting in the black market happen again. When you travel abroad illegally, undocumented, and all of that, you are more than 50% in the possibility of your organs being harvested. Apart from trafficking and all of that, human trafficking also involves organ harvesting, depending on the hand you fall into.
True.
Yes. So these are the things that the government needs to tackle. These are the bigger problems that I believe that the government needs to step in. Hospitals that are out there, who license them? And why are they even existing in the first place? I don't have the resources to go and research that this hospital is quack. But immediately it's being set up, who came and there's the word for it, who came when you put up a new place, and then they come and you go through it and approve it. I've forgotten the word for it, but who approved it to be of standard? Who came in and saw? It's the government. You're the one who is supposed to do your job.
You mostly have all this Ministry of Health going around to see if you are qualified to even be a teaching hospital.
Exactly.
And all of that.
But now let's come down to the basic of what can you do for yourself as a human being who is mindful about your health in general. Now, if you can rule out having hypertension, you don't have diabetes, then you can say, okay, now what else can I do? Because we are seeing that some of the reason that leads to kidney infections and diseases, if you're hypertensive, it can happen. If you have diabetes,
as well as being obese too.
And being obese. So if we can rule out all of these already health challenges that can trigger another health challenge, what is the next step? Don't stay away from chronic infection. And by chronic infection, I believe everybody understands what that is. Now, the other ones for me are the things that we consume. Bleaching cream. Are you consuming products like that are harmful? It's detrimental to your kidney.
True.
It is. Okay, we saw recently, due to high cost of pharmaceuticals, of drugs, we saw people going more for health.
And all of that.
Now, if you are taking in herbal drugs that are not regulated, the doses are not
very high.
You are at risk of your kidney failing you and developing one disease or another. So when you are able to rule out some of these things in your life, you should be able to say, what can I do? The first question should be, even, can I afford 160,000 naira weekly for dialysis? Because forget transplant, you are most likely not going to get an organ. You are most likely not going to get an organ, because we've had top prominent people dying due to kidney. If getting an organ was easy, they have the money.
Access to that.
Yes, they have the money to afford a kidney. But where they know, so you should rule that option out. Let's start with the basic one first. So just do whatever it takes. Just do whatever it takes. We are a very religious country, so it will not be out of place for me to say pray for good health, because we are very religious. We believe in prayers, we believe in God and all of that. So apart from the physical things you're doing, join the spiritual on top and pray. But most importantly, stay healthy. Do the needful. Just research and this is for every other health related condition. We do raise awareness on different things. It could be cancer, we've talked about that countless times. I know for lungs it will show up itself. We've talked about heart, mental health, and all of that overall, because one thing you notice is that what will affect one organ is most likely going to affect
every other organ. Gradually they start dying and shutting down.
Because just as we said, water is not only for your kidney, there are other organs that are waiting for water also in your body.
Part of your body
exactly. There are other, in fact, your liver will be destroyed by this unregulated use of herbal because it will also. So when you look at it, your general health, because one organ is related to another, so whatever toxins you consume not only affect one organ but affect another. So just take your general health seriously.
Of course, Rachel, we cannot overemphasize the importance of that. And just like you said, there's nothing more than to say to take lots of water, because just like you said, especially once your kidney fail, the first thing that will be affected is your heart, because they are very close. So before you realize it, your heart will stop beating. And I think we are all guilty of this. The moment you feel a little pain, the next you think of is a painkiller. And we don't take a lot of water to wash off those toxins. And that's why we keep talking about the fact that water is very, very important, because every part of your body, your eye need the water, your heart need the water, your skin need the water, everything. So that is why the moment you go to hospital complain of any pain, abdominal pain, the first question the doctor will ask you, do you take lots of water? So I think it's very important that we really, really take our health seriously, because health is life eventually. Well, let's take a little looking at what is happening. We know we've been looking at the issue of insecurity in this country that has been going on. I think it's a week now since the insurgents have been going on back to back from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all through. We've been seeing attack, and here we're seeing that the president is coming out categorically to say, you know what, no paying of ransom to these bandits. I remember when he started in Kaduna, when El-Rufai said that, a number of people came after him. If you were saying no paying of ransom, what are you doing as the governor of the state to make sure that everybody is safe, so that there will be no need for ransom? Because it will be very difficult for you to tell the mother presently right now, whose 7-year-old is in the dens of these kidnappers, not to go sell all her properties, not to sell her land, just so that she can get the money to be able to get her word back. So beyond words of mouth coming from our leaders saying the fact that, you know what, no paying of ransom, our security agency need to double up their work, make sure you check on everybody, make sure you comb every forest, every area, every hideout, and let us have these people back. But I believe that if the president is coming out here, what measures have they put in place? We've been talking about them being proactive, because for every action, there should be a reaction coming from the government. What are the reactions we're seeing presently? How many people have been rescued? It's already getting to a week since these kids have been in the dens of these people. So what are we going to tell the parents about that? How is the government going to make sure that, you know what, there should be no repetition? It's already 10 years after the Chibok case that happened in 2014. It's 10 years already. Until date, the community in Chibok are saying over 87 girls are not yet back into the community. So what are you going to tell the parents? Or are we going to talk about that happened in Sokoto, or are we that happened in Kebbi, Yuri girls, or are we that happened in Kaduna, the Baptist boy? We can keep mentioning schools after schools that actually there was an abduction that took place. Now, this is the question to the government. Beyond saying no paying of ransom, what measures, what modality have you put in place to make sure that, you know what, parents don't need to be worried, because they are sure that their words will come back unharmed?
I just can't help but wonder and find it a little bit funny. Is it because the ransom is 40 trillion that Tinubu is saying no payment of ransom? Why I'm saying so is that this is not the first kidnapping under your administration. And you know what? Those kidnapping ransoms were being paid, and you didn't say anything about it. And I can't help but wonder, is it because those ransoms were affordable? 50 million, 30 million, we saw that. Where that in Abuja, well, exactly, and other states, that there was kidnapping of like people from an estate, where we saw that in Abuja, and we saw those girls that one was killed.
The sisters, of course.
Ransoms were paid before they were released. Even the recent one of the school, I've forgotten the name of
State.
Yes, in Ekiti State, that
Ransom
the driver was
burnt. We just saw
yeah,
recently
that
he
his
was being
body
buried,
was
of
exactly.
course.
Ransom was paid. So my question is it because they are demanding 40 trillion that the issue of no paying of ransom? If you knew you had capable security people that you would charge them, read riot acts to them and tell them, you know what, go in there, sweep out these abducted pupils and students, and then deal with the criminals and the bandits, and just have this clean operation and come out. If you knew you had that capable security agencies and all of that, why wasn't the same tactics deployed in every other case? Why is it being deployed now when the ransom is outrageous? When we are looking at 40 trillion naira, when we are looking at 11 Hilux and trucks, and then 150 motorcycles. Why is it now? Because the number is much? Or is it because you know that this community cannot raise up anything? Or is it because you know already with the demand that these people are making, they don't have any plan? We talked about it when we saw this issue and it unveiled. We said, looking at this demand, these people don't want to release anybody because they know nobody will give them 40 trillion. They know nobody will give them 150 motorcycles or 11 Hilux. They know that these requirements will not be. There's a certain requirement you make. So like somebody knows you're not willing to give out something. I come to you and I say, I like your earrings, for example, and you tell me it's 1 million. And you know Rachel doesn't have this 1 million. And in as much as perhaps the earring is just 10,000 naira, but you put 1 million. If you say 20,000, you know Rachel can afford it, for example. If you put 100,000, you know Rachel can go because she wants it back at all means. But by the time you say 1 million and you know Rachel cannot afford 1 million, you're obviously giving me a message. You have no intention of giving these earrings to me whatsoever. I believe that this is the case here. And the president knows fully well that that is the message. And that is why the whole no payment of ransom thing is going to happen. Because I'm wondering, why wasn't these tactics deployed from onset of every abducted situation we've had in the country ever since you came into power? Because we don't want to look at the past administration, because there were such cases and situations there where El-Rufai championed the case of nobody. In the end, ransom was being paid to get these people eventually, because you know what, our military cannot go and carry out that operation that you are championing them to go and do, because you have not empowered them enough to do it. Period. So why can't we tell ourselves the truth and stop beating around the bush? And I keep saying that that is the problem with the Nigerian government, whether we like it or not. We come out and we give sweet speeches. I don't know what is the aim for this one in specific. Is it to win the heart of the people?
Just the president do not want to actually enrich them, because already we know that they are using this as a business.
We've talked about that already. You know it. You said it. Their ammunition and everything they have, they are already enriched. We know that. And whether you give them or not doesn't change their enrichment, because they are sponsored. We know the problem. Whether you give them this ransom or not, they will have money. They will still go and carry this operation over. In the enrichment, their problem is not. They are passing a message to you, obviously. And even a blind man can read the message. And even you, the president, can read the message. So why are you acting like nobody knows what is the real problem here in ground, on ground, and the way forward, and how to treat it and how to tackle about it? Why do we keep beating around the bush? It's really sad. It's really, really sad that parents are having sleepless nights now and don't know what is the way forward. And not only are they having sleepless nights, but more are about to join them. Because after that, we saw another one, we're going to see more. It's really sad, and I just hope that something real can be done about these children in captivity, and eventually we will record some success.
You know, Rachel, every time we hear that the Senate or the reps or the president is calling all the service chiefs, it's expected that for every of their meeting a different approach will be applied.
Of course.
But it's quite sad that for every time we're seeing them being called, it's the same talk, it's the same approach, it's the same intelligence, it's the same everything. And how on earth do we want to actually overcome this particular problem? You made mention of the fact that whether you empower them or not, they are already well empowered. And that's why we keep saying the fact that we need to go to the root cause of this problem. And we've said this a number of times. Let the people of Nigeria have the names, the faces, the companies, the industries that are actually sponsoring these people. Richard, they are not outside Nigeria. They are in this country. It was in this country where we heard Buni saying the fact that I know the people. I am being actually helped. He was actually working with Gumi. Before all of a sudden, he's on his own, Gumi is on his own, and Gumi is saying that, you know what, I will volunteer to go dialogue. What language does Gumi understand that the government of Nigeria cannot speak to the people to release them? Of course, I'm going to say that over the years, he has actually talked to them and they released the students. Yes. But what is the problem? What, just like you said, even a deaf person, a blind person can see the message clear on the wall. Why is our government not understanding all of this thing? Who are we protecting? Who is going to lose if eventually we expose the people behind it? If you say you have the names of these people, why are you still holding it? Why are you holding it? Give it to the people. Believe you me, Rachel, we'll keep asking the government. Why? Because whether the government accepts it or not, the media is the fourth arm of democracy in this country. After we talk about the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, the media is the next, whether we want to accept it or not. We hold them accountable. You said you would do this. How comes this is here? We talked about the fact that you said they should give you 3 weeks to settle the issue of the headers and farmers clash. How? I saw a lot of tweets coming up, or X rather, where people are saying, okay, you want to say we should give you land. Start from Lagos State, where it is yours. Exactly. Are there lands in Lagos? You build on it. So which state or which governor do you want him to give you land? To give who? So I think we need to think better. Because from the way things are looking, it's as if our thinking faculty, the government thinking faculty is very shallow. And they need to meet up and think faster and ahead of this bandit. If really we want. I know we're sad, and I'm just imagining my younger one or my daughter or my son being part of those LEA primary school children that are being abducted. Questions would be, how did you move with this large number of students without any security agents stopping you on the road? Which road did you use? Of course, I know there will be ones that will be crying. How did you shut them up? Did you drug them? So these are questions, and I hope that our government have the right answers for us, because until they answer, we'll still ask. We'll keep asking. We'll never get tired of asking, because it is our fundamental human right to know that. And I'm hoping that the government will actually do right by us, Rachel. Well, even as much as I'd like us to touch another topic, we've actually talked quite a lot. We have to end the show here. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Sally. And also thank you to our viewers, thank you to our supporters for keeping this moment with us again. Until we meet tomorrow, please do have a great day ahead.